walking place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing the way the roots come down from the trees and come in.
I know, yeah. Hiya, this is part 2 on the Skipton River cruise. Canal cruise, I mean. Nice. Kind of opens out. Some views.
Whether a local, a regular visitor or a tourist, step onto the Millennium Walk and you'll soon discover some interesting aspects of Skipton that you didn't know before. Most people know Skipton for its fine high street, and in 2010 it was actually voted the High Street of the Year. At the top of the high street sits Skipton Castle, which was built by the Normans, defended by the Royalists and restored by Lady Anne Clifford. It is a must for any visitor, winter, spring, summer or fall, which is autumn, obviously. The Skipton Millennium Walk pays attention to details of the high street that may have escaped your attention. Features such as the base of the long removed market cross, or the bull baiting stone, or the vicar's paving. While not entering the castle or any of the churches, the walk takes you conveniently close by so you can explore these separately. You'll enjoy the towpath of the Springs Canal as it meets the Leeds Liverpool, and the colourful barges that ply holidaymakers along nearly the northernmost part of the canal, which is at the nearby village of Gargrave. The railways put paid to the canals as a transport route, and Skipton Station was replaced so that it gave access to Mr Dewhurst's home at Irville. The gardens are now a park and the house incorporated into a school. You may be surprised to know that Skipton actually has an intercity service to London's King's Cross. Are you surprised? Because I'll tell you what, I am not surprised. The walk skips the base of a drumlin that is Middletown. A drumlin, by the way, is an elongated whale-shaped hill formed by glacial ice. Why, I thank you O-level geography. As it heads by Wallerbeck to the wilderness adjacent to the original location of Cannon Ermistede School. Though you may find the schoolmaster's house, now across Keys, out of scale. It's a bit small, probably. Returning to the high street along Otley Street, you will see carvings on quoin stones. That's quoin stones. I don't know, don't ask me. Must be vegetarian. And passing the Sir Optimus rooms, you'll also pass a house that bears Rudyard Kipling's name. Possibly a cake shop. Possibly a cake shop that made exceedingly good cakes. Who knows? Not me. The shopping of the high streets has extended to Craven Court, and several of the ginnels. I love that word, ginnel. It's a proper northern word, isn't it, ginnel? Because a ginnel looks like a ginnel. That's a ginnel. Of course it is. Anyway, it creates an enjoyable experience served by Thomas's and other independent retailers, along with the usual suspects. Also in Skipton, you can visit the Craven Museum at the Town Hall, along with the Tourist Information Centre. Whittaker's Chocolate Shop is also just next door, and again, no visit to Skipton would be complete without a stop here. Skipton is famous for its high street market, which takes place 4 days a week. And Skipton also has a farmers market every first Sunday of the month down at the Canal Basin on Court Street car parks. Skipton hosts many events throughout the year, such as the Waterways Festival, the Puppet Festival, Sheep Day, Kelsey Breeze, and the Yuletide Festival, and many events are also held at the Yorkshire Mart. Nearby is the small market town of Settle, Grassington Village, as seen on TV, Ingleton with its famous waterfall walks, Colne, the home of Boundary Mills, I love it, I take it back lunch, Howard, home of the Bronte sisters, Embsay and Bolton Abbey with its many walks, Malham and of course the Yorkshire Dales. There are many places that have also had TV and film locations, so be sure to check them out. A number of notable people have been born in Skipton. In 1838, the philosopher Henry Sidgwick was born on May the 3rd. Thomas Spencer, the co-founder of Marks and Spencer, was born in Queen's Court, Skipton in 1858. On the 18th of March 2010, a bronze statue of the great Freddie Truman was unveiled on the promenade of the Canal basin. Freddie and his wife lived in the Craven village of Flasby near Skipton. And if you didn't see it before you got on the boat, please have a look when you disembark. Noted in many history books is the biggest punch up ever to take place in Skipton. It happened on the night of the 16th of August 1842. Over 3,000 got stuck in, and all took part in what was later called the Great Anna Hills Fight. Chartists, Luddites, plug drawing rioters, call them what you wish. They were all on the march and they were desperate. Meanwhile, in other areas, rioters entered Low Mills, Chapel Hill Mill, the Skipton Woods High Mills, as well as Dewhurst Mill on Broughton Road. They were all pulling out the plugs from the bottom of the boilers and letting out the water, which made the steam to drive the power looms. With the leaders demanding money from the mill owners, terrified house owners threw their possessions into the thoroughfare before locking their doors. Back in the town hall, near the Tourist Information Centre, a defender came up with a brilliant idea. While Magistrate Wilson began to read the riot act in the High Street, timber merchant John Settle would pretend to be a Chartist leader and spread the news that carts made ready for the distribution of balloons were assembled at Anna Hills. The rioters were to withdraw there immediately. The ruse worked. Can you believe they fell for that? Well, they did. And only on reaching Anna Hills did the rioters realise that they'd been duped and were hell-bent on returning to smash up Skipton good and proper like. That's my impression of a local plug drawing rioter. Rioters were dispersing everywhere, driven into neighbouring lanes, over hedges, across fields, the soldiers in their bayonets bringing up the rear. It was reported that no shots were fired and comparatively little blood was shed. Much of a riot, really. On the subject of riots, a not very bright friend of mine was arrested in last year's London riots. He was caught coming out of Argos, where he'd nicked 200 catalogues. And on that dubious note, to a collection of dubious notes of a different kind, here's some wonderful music from Nick's favourite orchestra, playing the Blue Danube. That's what I call a link.
Did you tell me? Music's appropriate for them as well. Right, we're on our way back now.
Biscuits are coming, folks.
Tea and biscuits are included in the cruise.
It's down there.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Oh, yeah, Miller.
Hamster wall on the top.
Biscuit?
Take two.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Biscuit?
No, thank you.
Alrighty. Biscuit?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Which one?
Bourbon. Thank you.
Biscuit? 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 You're welcome. Biscuit? 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 Biscuit?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Most of them have made it back. It started off with an inspection launch called Alexandra, and in the 1970s the Coverdale was bought. In 1997 she was lengthened and replated. She's quite an old lady and has a tidy bottom. The Dalesman was built in 1994 to the design of Alan Hughes by Colecraft. In 2002, Nick Osborne took over the business and has introduced theme night cruises with live entertainment and a hot supper. Who needs a Mediterranean cruise, eh? These go out on a Thursday night and some Saturdays in the high season. He's also introduced the 2-hour roast dinner cruises sailing on Sundays. And in the winter months he introduced the roast Christmas dinner cruises and the ever popular magical Santa trips. These are not to be missed, and if you would like to have any more information about these, please pop into the office and they'll be pleased to help you. In 2003, Pennine Boats bought 4 electric powered boats imported from France. These were then sold in 2010 when someone misplaced the extension lead for the 2 big continental plug adapters. The steam-powered boat was introduced for a short season in 2008. In 2009, an inspection launch was purchased. Called Victoria, she was built in 1880 and was a beautiful boat. But Nick wasn't happy with the steering, so sold her after a few months. In 2009, Alex Osborne, who was only in his early 20s, designed and built 2 32-foot narrowboats to be used here as day boats. These are named Airedale and Beedale and moored up at the wharf by the office. These are available for day hire and hold up to 10 people. And so a little bit about the canal history and its wildlife. Questions will be asked at the end of this, so if you could just wake up. The canal was started in 1770 and opened in stages, although it was not properly completed for over 40 years. It was built to an unusual gauge, considering the areas it linked together. The locks were only built large enough to accommodate the Yorkshire keels that are Calder and Humber rivers, and they're too short for the average size Mersey flat or any Midland narrowboats. It's a long navigation and climbs steeply into the hillside and length. While to splash the summit was always going to be difficult, it was built for vessels drawing no more than 4 feet. The canal barges that evolved from all these constraints were the leads in the little short boats. About 60 feet long and 14 feet wide, they combined styles of construction from both east and west of the Pennine. Most short boats were carvel-built wooden craft, packed but efficient with a fine, graceful run aft, bringing the water smoothly up to a big wooden rudder. Some were round stern, with all the planks pulled in and fixed to one vertical stern post, but many of the horse boats, especially on the Yorkshire side, were built with a large square transom stern. Steel short boats were being built into the 1950s, and most of these survived, although scattered around the system. One is even near London after a coastal passage. Several are to be seen in or near Manchester, where the leads of Liverpool Canal proper is joined to the Bridgewater Canal by the Lee branch. These leads of Liverpool short boats also developed an elaborate and unusual style of decorative paintwork quite distinct from that of other canal crafts. Panels of strong colour with contrasting borders carried intricate painted scrollwork and deeply shaded lettering, and even the guard irons at bow and stern were painted with unique patterns of stripes, triangles and little fleur-de-lis. Pictures appeared as well, but not as constrained in subject matter as the castle convention of the narrowboats. Cottages, sailing ships, vases of flowers, horses, windmills, monkeys. I'd love a monkey on the side of my narrowboat. On a bike, funniest thing in the world. Anything and everything that appealed to popular taste could be incorporated within the strong visual framework of the painted panels, with each corner filled in as a quadrant. Most of all, however, it was the insistent painted scrollwork that gave the short boats their special regional character, a tradition that is in grave danger of being entirely lost. At a steady walking speed, a horse can move approximately, get this, 50 times as much weight in a boat that it could with a cart on old-fashioned roads, possibly 100 times its own body weight. Amazing. The load moves with minimal friction whilst the strength of the animal is linked directly to the load with little wasted energy. And it was this efficiency equation that inspired the development of the canal system in the 18th century. It was also this same old-fashioned horsepower that kept it going profitably for a century and a half thereafter. Even after the widespread introduction of steam and motorboats, horse-drawn craft continued to operate and compete until the middle of the 20th century. Horses are a critically important part of canal history, but a part that is in danger of being overlooked in this mechanical age. Remember, always, it wasn't so much the steam engine that created the Industrial Revolution as the horse that brought the coal to the boiler in the first place. Horse boating, for all its apparent slow, romantic grace, was not for the faint-hearted. It was very hard work requiring skill, judgment and experience, interspersed with long hours of plodding drudgery, and most of the boating population were pleased to move on to motorboats as they became available. Engines, you see, didn't get tired, and you didn't have to walk behind them all day, every day. The decorative ropework tradition of canal boats was the combination of cultural need coupled with the ready availability of the right material at a price the boatman could afford. The practical need was primarily fendering, something soft and resilient between the boat and the lock wall, or something to protect the house-proud skipper's elaborate paintwork from damage. Big, tough fenders had to be made and fitted to the bows of any boats when working locks, and a big set of stern fenders was needed on a motorboat to soften the bumps of the towed buddy boats running into the motorboat's stern in bridges or shallow places. A thick plait of rope was whipped around the very top of the big wooden horseboat rudder to protect the paint, and several small plaits or tucked heads encircled the wooden tiller to save it from damaging the cabin roof. These were practical needs being fulfilled in a logical way with waste rope, and a neat craftsman and a tidy boat captain ensured that these fenders always looked neat and tidy, all properly shipshape, not for pounds. There were, however, many other pieces of decorative ropework on a well-furnished narrowboat which, whilst probably originally invented for functional reasons, gradually became simply decorative additions. Short rope with fancy knitted ends dangled down the cabin sides and from the water can and the chimney, and pretty tubes of knotted ropework adorned with more tipped-head plaits were strained taut down the back of the rudder. Ropes originally tied over a folded tarpaulin topcloth to stop it floating away became permanent, neat geometric designs in rope, with the spur ends coiled and tucked under the tight white ropework lines like little wheels. The secret heart of all the arts of the narrowboat world was the tiny boat cabin. It was secret because it was such a private space, the personal home and possessions of the boating family, but it was the heart because it shaped and controlled the working lives of the boat people, and the forecast of the canal is the result of that historic lifestyle. Canal towpaths and surrounding areas support a large variety of wildlife, some easier to see than others. Summer days bring out butterflies and dragonflies. Evenings you may hear frogs and toads croaking in the rushes, foxes barking or badgers howling in the woods. You may see bats flitting through the dark, many living in old buildings near the canal, the rare pipistrelle bat in this case. Water voles can be seen swimming across the canal, although the voracious mink has taken a heavy toll on their numbers. Grey squirrels are common in most woods, red squirrels less so these days. You may be lucky enough to see a stoat or a weasel out hunting. You see swans, ducks, moorhens, coots, herons, and possibly the blue flash of a kingfisher as it skims the canal ahead of the boat. Up at Skipton Woods, beaches at the top of the high street, regular dog walkers say kingfisher is seen almost daily throughout the winter months. There was a water otter on one of the small boats at the wharf, and by water otter I don't mean a kettle, I mean a proper otter, which has been seen diving into the canal catching fish and bringing them back to the boat to feed. So keep your eyes peeled and let us know if you spot something we've mentioned or something we haven't seen ourselves. Or fish and chip and burger cartons don't count, there's plenty of them. Pennine boat trips wait a few times a year to get the litter at the canal, but still people throw rubbish in. You'd think they'd put it in the bins, wouldn't you? Hanging stick husband. Bring back the birch, I say. Castle has stood in Skipton for over 900 years. It was first built as a motte and bailey castle in 1090 by a Norman baron, Robert de Ragdoll. And for those of you who don't speak French, that's translated as Robert of Romeo. The wooden castle was replaced with a stone keep as it wasn't strong enough to withstand attacks from the Scots to the north. For nearly 1,000 years, Skipton Woods provided fuel, building materials and food to the castle that it surrounds. And the waterways that run through it gave power to local wool, corn and sawmills across 2 centuries. The forest was carefully managed for firewood, timber and for hunting, while the beck provided fresh water and plenty of fish. But through all this management and heavy usage, the spirit of Skipton has never changed. It's still one of the most beautiful, serene sights in the Wild About Woods project. Spend a couple of hours following the valley of the Ellerbeck on the Wild About Woods trail. Sit and admire some stunning views. Soak up the peace and the history. You'll go home recharged. Gentlemen, boys and girls who will soon be arriving in Barbados. Hope the scurvy hasn't got you. Sorry, no, I stand corrected. Skipper tells me we are arriving back at our wharf in Skipton. Could you please return to and remain in your seats? Once it is safe to do so and the boat is securely moored up, we will let you know when you can disembark. Please take care opening overhead lockers, as with the riders' bunkies today, your stuff will definitely move around a bit. When you leave the boat, please be sure to take all your belongings with you. Anything left behind will be shared out by the crew and will probably be on eBay by tomorrow if you want it back. This does not apply to spouses and children left on board. I'd just like to remind you again of the step down from your seats. Please be careful. I hope you've enjoyed the cruise with us today. Don't forget our theme nights on Thursdays and Saturdays from May through to September. And also, as I mentioned before, why not hire out a day boat to be your own skipper? They carry up to 10 people on board and make a fabulous day out for all the family. All the information and bookings are available from our wharf office and indeed online at www.canaltrips.co.uk. And you may wish to look at the buildings in our yard. Full of history, there used to be stables where the road trees are, and there are more photos in the Skipton Pie Shop, which we encourage you to look at if you have time. It's full of Canal memorabilia, model boats and delicious homemade pies. On behalf of Canal Boat Trips, I do hope that you've had an enjoyable day in Skipton. If you'd like further details of our day boats, private charters, special cruises, please pop into the wharf office and they will give you more information. Thanks again. It's bye from me. Yes, bye.
Right, we've just finished now on this Canal cruise. Thanks for watching. See ya.